Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you, and welcome to a very special episode of Let's Talk About It. So today we're going to be discussing one of the first steps to success. Obviously, if we want to be successful, we want to do something, there's always have to be a starting point, and there always has to be something consistent. So what is that thing? That thing is determination. So today we're going to be discussing determination. What is it? Where do I find it? Do I have it? How can I get some? We'll be discussing all of the things about determination, and we've also got two very special guests who have shown that they have enough determination to make history. That's right, I've got two very special guests that have made history recently, and we'll be asking them about where they found their determination, where it's come from, and any advice they can give to us on determination as well. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to our guests for the show today. The first guest is Rashid Ali. He made history recently by becoming the first man to ride a bicycle, that's right, a push bike, all the way from London to Mecca. Rashid bhai, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you for having me on the show.
It's a pleasure. And also, next to Rashid bhai, we have his co-conspirator, brother Abdul Hannan. Brother Abdul Hannan also joined Rashid bhai in making history as they travelled on their journey from London to Mecca on a bicycle. However, Abdul Hannan actually came across an injury where he had to stop cycling, but his determination meant we saw him go back on the bike and ride across all the way to Mecca again. And we'll hear about how they both found determination, what it means to them, and how that had helped them achieve their dreams and desires in life. So first of all, let's look at the word determination. When we talk about determination, what is it that we're actually talking about? Is it something that you think about for 10 seconds, or is it something that should be a constant in your life? So when we actually talk about determination, the other things that we need to discuss in parallel to it is focus, goal setting. If we want to achieve something, we need to know what it is that we actually want to achieve. We need to have a goal in place, and we need to be determined in order to get to that goal. And if we don't have any focus, all we'll do is go around in circles like most of us do in most times of our life, or at times of our life. Just go around in circles chasing something, and you end up in the same place and you realize, hang on a minute, what have I been doing for the last year? And it's those individuals that are determined, that wake up every day and they have that thought in the back of their mind, and they have that thing, and they talk about that thing they want to achieve, and they discuss that thing they want to achieve, they read a book on it, or they have a conversation on it, or they go to a seminar on it. Why is it that those people are the ones that seem to make magic happen? So let's ask the magic makers what they have to say about determination. So first of all, please tell us how you've made history. Tell us a little bit more about that journey.
Well, this journey, it was a 5,000 kilometer journey over 56 days, and it involved cycling from here to Hajj. And Hajj is a very important part of our journey as Muslims, performing Hajj. And I particularly wanted to do my first Hajj ever in a way that replicates something similar to the time of the Prophet when he did, peace be upon him. And our ancestors, our grandfathers, they used to talk about going to Hajj over months and months. Sometimes they used to say goodbye to their families as if they're never going to return back. And so I wanted to replicate something along that line. So that the idea, was born from something. It comes from passion. So determination has passion as well to do it. If you have the passion and you're determined to do it, you will always find a way. You might get knocked down first few times, but you get up and you keep trying and you keep trying. You keep knocking on the doors, and some door will open.
So let's talk about your determination.
Mm-hmm.
So you've achieved history by being the first man to ride from London all the way to Mecca.
All the way, yeah.
All the way to Mecca. So was that your goal, or what was your actual goal?
There were a few goals there. One was that's my personal goal. Also, at the time, I was involved with Muslim Charity. I just joined Muslim Charity, and I visited some of the children in Bangladesh who live on the streets. And when I saw these children, how they lived on the streets, how they earned their money by working 16 hours a day, and they were earning something like £2 a day. And these were kids from the age of 4 to 14 years old. And subhanAllah, I mean, I could talk about that all day long, but these kids were going through so much abuse, so much hardship. And I said, you know what, we're so privileged. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed me I have an ability to do like long distance running and cycling. So I want to change these kids' life. What can I do for them? And at that time I thought, okay, I'm going to do one of my longest, biggest ride ever. What can that be? And I thought, let's do London to Makkah. And that's when the idea was born.
Is that the first time you thought about doing a ride from London all the way to Mecca, or is
No,
that a thought that you had in the past?
I did have a thought in the past. About 4 years ago, I participated in a ride from Cambridge to London. That was my first ever ride for charity. And I was a new beginner, and I rode, and I found out I was quite good at that. Before that, I used to do long distance running. And that time, it was March 2014, and I did that ride through the night. And out of a big group, I was one of the first ones back. And I thought, subhanAllah, I'm pretty good at that. Previously, I had won a long distance 5K run, and the prize was an Umrah ticket. And that was the first time I went to Umrah back in 2012. And I thought, how can I make my Hajj trip even more special? I want to do Hajj. And I thought, why not do it on a bike? I'm sitting on a bike, and let's replicate this idea of how our ancestors did it, how the Prophet, peace be upon him, did it, and the companions, thousands of years ago. And I spoke to the brothers that were involved, that organised that bike ride. And they kind of shrugged me off, thinking, this old man, new to cycling, he wants to ride to Makkah. Shrugged me off, left it. But I had that idea, and I was constantly thinking, training, trying to find ways.
So we'll come to that. So just to summarise what you said there. So you said 4 years ago, you done your first ever charity bike ride. You drove through the night. You got to the end of that.
Rode through the night, not drove.
Sorry, rode through the night. Driver. So you got to the end of the night and you decided, hang on, you know what? I'm going to cycle all the way to Makkah.
Yes.
And you made a commitment to yourself that you're going to do that.
That's right.
And then you carried on, you shared this with a few people, and they said, this 50-year-old guy, this is the first time he's riding a bike, and now he's saying he wants to ride 5,000, is it 5,000 miles to Makkah?
5,000 kilometres.
He wants to do 5,000
3,500 miles, yeah.
He wants to do 3,500 miles, he's mad. But you were determined that you was going to make that happen.
Yes.
You knew at some point it was going to it's something you were going to make happen.
Yes.
And you constantly was thinking about it,
yes.
You were dreaming about it, and you were focused on making sure that happened. So tell us a little bit more about why you were determined to make that happen. What kind of things did you practice every day? Or what was it like? Because it was, you've made a commitment now, and the only reason 4 years later you was able to see it through was because of the determination you had throughout those 4 years. So tell us about that.
That, in a way, it's a blessing from Allah. Everything I've done in the past, from a very young age, if I got something in my mind, it doesn't matter what it takes. It's like a do or die situation for me.
Right.
I don't know nothing else. I've got to get that done. And even if it's something that's a 10-year program, 10 years I have to work on it, I'll work on it. It'll always be in the back of my mind. I'll do everything else, but always that's there. I'm thinking about it. So any opportunity, my radars are always, so if I know,
So a lot of people, they have a lot of goals. They want to get a better job. They want to get a better career. They want to go into the gym and get fit. And sometimes people don't achieve those goals because there's too many things they're focusing on. So they end up achieving nothing.
That's right.
So would you say it's very important that to have one main focus? If you want to achieve that, you need to be focused on that one thing.
Yeah, unfortunately, we live in a world, we've got to earn our money, we've got to earn our living. I totally understand. We have full-time job, we have family. I have 5 kids, I've got a full-time job. I have to do that. But back in my mind, that was my biggest goal, and that was my concentration. So yes, I went to a job 9 to 5, but at that time, any other time, anything that, you make an idea of what you need. So I made it, okay, I've got 5,000 kilometer journey, I need to work out a route, I need to know how I'm going to cross this ocean, I need this. So all these things I had in my head. Now, every time I was talking to somebody or doing something, all right, this gentleman's going to be very good for this. So I talked to him. So that, it was always there. It was embedded in my head, the whole idea, how I'm going to do this. All I needed is those connections. So
what you're saying is when you commit to doing something and when you're focused on doing something and it's something that you speak about, it's something that you drink about, it's something that you think about, it's something that you sleep on, when you have people, you have conversations, you're suddenly more open to that happening because suddenly you start seeing how these people and these opportunities start presenting themselves.
Definitely.
And they help you towards achieving your goal. Right, if you wasn't thinking about it, you would have missed those opportunities.
That, and also by talking to others as well, you get more idea. Me alone, that's just one brain. But if I talk to 10 different people, they might not be an expert in that field, but they still can put some input because especially the journey I was in is so much involved in it.
Yes.
You know, accommodation, food, exercise, training, all these things. Remember, 4 years ago I was new to cycling.
Yeah.
So any advice I can get was good for me. I was taking it in. So talking to more people you talk, the more ideas you get, and you just got to work at it, keep working. If you get knocked down, like you say, get up, try again.
So you said earlier, you've always been determined from a very young age.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you about the first time you remember being determined. Tell us about that.
Okay, that's...
What's the first thing you remember being determined about?
One of quite a lot, but one of the other biggest one was I was 25 years old, 24 when I started, and I wanted to do, you know, back then, I'm going back about 25, 30 years ago.
So and go back as much as you want.
And there used to be wedding organization companies that used to organize weddings. Right. And I used to see them, they used to turn up at a wedding event, drop food at the place, and there was no organizing. The families used to get together and muck in and do the food serving, etc. And at that time I thought, you know, I want to do something that organizes everything for these people in a nice place, serve them, etc., etc. And so I organized a wedding on an aircraft that's never been done before in this country. And I took 200 Muslims on top of St. Paul's Cathedral, 2,000 feet above, held a plane and held a nikah, which was live shown on TV. It was on BBC as well. They did a documentary on it. And I flew on from there to Southampton airport, where I took a plane that was abandoned and turned it into a restaurant. And I had live ice sculpture, musicians, fruit carving, and so all the guests went there, had a dinner inside a plane, which was turned into a restaurant. And that was one of my first, you know, again, just to prove to people out there at that caterer, all the catering, that this is what I can do, and that was my ability. And these are some of the crazy ideas sometimes I think of and I work on.
So you've pulled off some amazing feats, and in order to do them, you've had different motivational factors. So, for example, Hajj, it was something that was replicating what the Sahabas and the Prophet done, and for this, it was to prove a point to the caterers, up your game, we can do a lot better.
Yeah.
So you find motivation from different places, but where do you find the determination? What is it that makes you say, I'm going to do this and go for it, and why can't other people do it? Or what advice would you give to people to have that same laser focus that you have?
Hunger, I would say it's hunger. If you're hungry enough for it, you'll get it. If you're hungry enough and you're determined, you work harder, you will get it, you will achieve it. So I was hungry, and when I have these ideas, and especially when people say to me, no, it's not possible, it makes me more determined. The more people say to me, no, it can't be done, the more I work harder.
You have to prove them that it can.
It can be done, yes.
Okay. Let's bring us on to our young panelist, Abdul Hannan. So Abdul Hannan, when we were talking, we've known each other for some years now, and I've noticed a change in you over the years, from being just a normal teenager who just wants to have a good laugh to becoming a very young ambassador for the youth in the local borough of Tower Hamlets. And there was a very definite shift and change in you from that to becoming a very focused young man that you are today. Tell us what it is that made that change for you and how you found determination and what made you become focused.
So determination for me is central in my life at the moment, because without determination it's very difficult for people to achieve milestones. For me, unfortunately, yeah.
Just to interrupt you, at what point in your life did you suddenly realize I need to become determined, or I need to put some kind of determination out there?
At 16, I was slowly thinking about determination, but it wasn't until 19 that I was really focused and determined to make a change.
Tell us about that.
So at 16, I was unfortunately a troubled kid. I was excluded from school twice on 2 occasions. I went to PRU, People's Referral Unit. It's only till at 16 that I wanted to, you know, change my lifestyle around and focus on about education. Unfortunately, I've left school with only 1 GCSE. That was a very hard hit on me. Now, I've spent so many years in school and left school with only 1 GCSE. Slowly but surely I started focusing on my education and trying to do good. and I've managed myself to get into college. I did a BTEC level 2 in sports science, then I did a national diploma in media, and unfortunately when I was 19 my mother passed away. That was a very, very big hit on me. And then after she passed away, I was very determined to show and prove to my mother that I was a good boy, that I wanted to do something in honor of her name. And ever since, I haven't looked back. I'm really focused. I went back to college and retook my GCSEs. I applied for university. I did a youth and community work degree. I started up my own boxing club called Brawlers Boxing, which is quite successful at the moment. In 2016, I won an award by the Metropolitan Police for Tower Hamlets Community Safety. I was shortlisted for a national award by
We'll come on to all of those achievements in the second half of the show, because there's quite a lot there to list, and we'll look at more of Rashid by his achievements here as well. So just before we take a quick break, what we're going to wrap up is determination. It's all about being hungry for it. If you're determined, it's going to be something that you wake up and you know it's on the back of your mind. It's always there. You're going to be open to opportunities for it. You're going to be talking about it. You're going to be thinking about it. You're going to be spending all of your free time that you have, and you're going to be freeing up time to be able to work on that dream, work on that goal, and work on that aspiration that you have. For some people, it's about proving to others that it can be done. For other people, it's about proving a point, or showing or proving to somebody that actually, you know what, Mum, I was a good boy, and this is all in honor of your memory. So after the break, we'll come back and we'll explore determination in the lives of Abdul, Hannan and Rashid Ali a little bit further.
Not just another award, unique, ambitious, transparent. Be ready for top 10 regional winners or one and only national champion of champions. Trophy worth over £50,000. Asian Restaurant and Takeaway Awards, ARTA, Best of Britain Curry Awards. Online nomination by customers. Chance to win a brand new car. 16 regional cook-off. Register your restaurant now. ARTA 2018 Grand Finale, O2 Intercontinental London. Biggest and most glamorous 5-star venue. artauk.com.
Regent's Lake, a beautiful venue in the heart of Tower Hamlets. In an inspiring location by Victoria Park and the Regent's Canal. Accommodating for up to 600 guests. Perfect for small, large and segregated weddings. Specialising in all types of events, giving you exclusive in-house catering facilities. Regent's Lake, your perfect choice.
Sale, sale, sale. Massive clearance sale is going on from 1st November 2017. Salma Designer Abaya House is giving you up to 70% off on all designer abaya, 60% off on designer kaftan, 50% off on waistcoat, 50% off on Islamic books, 500 gram ajwa dates only for £10, and many more items. Visit our store to get this clearance sale. Salma Designer Abaya House, 118 Whitechapel Road, London E11JE. Telephone 02070182375.
If you've had an accident and that was not your fault, let Unicorn fight for your rights. Don't know where to take the car after an accident? Let Unicorn recover your car 24 hours a day. We provide prompt accident recovery and vehicle replacement. Want someone to help fight for your rights for a non-fault accident? Let Unicorn help you to recover from the losses you have suffered from. Our specialist solicitors provide full legal representation. Thinking of hiring a car to suit an occasion? Let Unicorn provide you an amazing car collection. We provide any sort of vehicle for private hire for any purpose. Unicorn, we provide the right car for the right purpose. Sitting in a broken car after a non-fault accident and thinking of what to do? Let Unicorn replace your vehicle right now. We provide replacement vehicle hire. Unicorn, your non-fault claim assistant and vehicle hire.
Impression Events Venue's 10th year anniversary discounts of £1,000 for all 2018 functions. For bookings, call 0207 473 4455.
Mint Caterers.
Bring taste and glamour to your event.
PCO Claims মিনি ক্যাব ড্রাইভারের বিপদর বন্ধু গাড়ি অ্যাক্সিডেন্ট করিয়া জবলেস হওয়ার দিন শেষ জাস্ট ওয়ান ফোন কলে PCO Claims আপনারে দিতে পারে 24 hours recovery immediate replacement car storage and repair service 02077917799
Impression Events Venue's 10th year anniversary discounts of £1,000 for all 2018 functions. For bookings, call 0207 473 4455.
Mom, isn't Dad come back home?
When a marriage breaks down, children suffer the most. If you are in this situation, we are here to help.
For child and family matters, Kingdom Solicitors.
সেল 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 সালমা ডিজাইনার আবায়া হাউসে ক্লিয়ারেন্স সেল 1 নভেম্বর 2017 থেকে সালমা ডিজাইনার আবায়া হাউস দিচ্ছে সকল আবায়ার উপর সর্বোচ্চ 70% মূল্য ছাড়, কাফতানের উপর সর্বোচ্চ 60%, ওয়েস্টকোটের উপর সর্বোচ্চ 50%, 500 গ্রাম আজওয়া খেজুর মাত্র 10 পাউন্ড এবং ইসলামিক বইয়ের উপর রয়েছে সর্বোচ্চ 50% মূল্য ছাড়। আজই আসুন এবং আমাদের ক্লিয়ারেন্স সেল অফার গ্রহণ করুন। সালমা ডিজাইনার আবায়া হাউস 118 হোয়াইটচ্যাপেল রোড, লন্ডন E11JE, টেলিফোন 02070182375।
আমাদের কমিউনিটিতে কার্গো বিজনেসের প্রসার ঘটিয়েছে জিএমজি। এক যুগেরও বেশি সময় ধরে জিএমজি আস্থার সাথে সেবা দিয়ে যাচ্ছে। সস্তা বিজ্ঞাপনে প্রতারিত হবেন না। জিএমজি বাংলাদেশ বিমান অনুমোদিত একমাত্র কার্গো সেলস এজেন্ট। কার্গো সেবা নিলে বেস্ট সেবাটাই নিন, নিরাপদ থাকুন। জিএমজি কার্গো, আস্থা ও বিশ্বস্ততার প্রতীক।
Mahi Sweets. This Ramadan, visit Mahi Sweets for all kind of iftar, refreshing milkshakes and ice creams. Mahi Sweets, 59 Barnet Road, Mile in London.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to a special episode of Let's Talk About It. Today we're talking about the first step to success, and what is that? It is, that's right. I can't hear you? Okay, that's right. So the first step to success is all about your focus, and it's all about being committed to a goal. And what we're talking about in the first half of the show was all about how we find success, how we find that determination in our own lives. And we spoke to our panel and they said where they find their determination. So for one of them, Rashid said he found determination in our faith, in Islam and in religion. And when he was younger, it was always something that's been there for him. For our brother Abdul Hannan, he said something he discovered once he had a tragedy in his life. His mother passed away, and for him determination and focus came as soon as he experienced that tragedy. And for him, after that step, everything he does has been about honouring his mother. And we're going to find out about some of the awards he's won and how he's channeled that focus and determination into becoming and making a success of his life in the second half of the show, where they will be giving you some pointers and advice. So just to sum up, from the first part of the show, what we spoke about is if you want to achieve something, if you want to be successful, if you want to make magic happen, you need to find that focus and determination in order to achieve something. So what do we need to do? We need to always make sure that that determination of that goal that we have is always in the back of the mind. It needs to be in our language, it needs to be in our thoughts, and it needs to be in our sleep and our prayers. We need to be constantly thinking about it, we need to be working towards it. Even if it takes 4 or 5 or 10 years, we need to work on it step by step. And as long as we know what we're focused on and where the end goal is, inshallah, nothing's going to stop us from achieving that. So, what were the main tips from our brothers Rashid Ali and Abdul Hannan? Let's take this second half of the show to find out and speak to these men that have created history. What can we do to find that determination and focus, and what tips do they have for us? So first of all, Abdul Hannan, we cut you off just before the break. You were telling us about your achievements. Now, it's very clear from the age of 19, you suddenly found this focus, and it's something that's very personal to you. It's because you wanted to honor your mother's memory and prove to her, you know what, I am a good boy. And therefore you've won award after award and had achievement after achievement, and you're continuing along this path. Now, what advice would you have to similar young people who were troubled or who might still be troubled? And it's not always just young people that are troubled. I know people of all ages that sometimes have trouble and things don't always seem to go right in life, and they just give up and just think it's never going to happen. What advice can you give to them to say it's never too late and this is how I found focus?
So coming from a boxing background, I was very much disciplined and believing in myself. So the most important factor about success and determination, I would say, is self-belief. When you have self-belief and self-confidence, I believe 50% of the work is done. The other 50% is actually making it and seeing it through, making your goals and ambitions and dreams come true. So that 50%, first of all, is the first and biggest step, is to have self-belief and confidence that whatever you are achieving for, that whatever you are hoping for, or whatever you want to do, you have self-belief within yourself, and you say to yourself that I can achieve it or I can do this. Likewise, Rashid Bhai had the self-belief that he's going to get London to Makkah. He didn't know how. He didn't know how he's going to do it, but he had that belief he was going to do it, and he made it happen. So first of all, my advice is self-belief and confidence in yourself. The other 50%, that's 50% of the work is done. The other 50% is actually making it happen. So you have a plan, you have goals, you have a contingency plan if something goes wrong, and finally you see a forecast of how you're going to see that through and make it happen. And I think a lot of young people get caught up when they see, other people are successful. They think, you know what, I can't achieve it, I can't do this. But nothing is impossible if you put your mind, your heart and your soul into it.
So advice from young Abdul Hannan there is half the work is done as soon as you have that belief and commitment that I'm going to do this, I'm going to see it through. And I suppose once you set your first goal and you achieve that, your self-confidence and your ability to believe in yourself and achieve those things only get stronger and only happen more and more, which is why he's been able to replicate one success after success after success after success. And what Abdul Hannan also said is, once you've done half the work, which is believing it's going to happen and having faith it's going to happen, the second half of it is putting that into a plan. So what do I need to think about? If that goes wrong, then what do I need to do next? And the more you have, the more you plan and the better your plans are, the more focused you'll be, the more determined you'll be, and the more plausible it will be that you're going to achieve your dreams. Because suddenly, from not knowing how you're going to do it or what you're going to do, now you've got a plan, you just have to execute the plan. Brother Rashid, tell us your advice for having focus and being determined. It's something that you've had from a very young age. Some people might struggle to find that. What advice and tips can you give to people in that situation?
Obviously, I mean, like I said earlier on, you have to have the hunger. You have to have that determination, and you have to be a fighter. You can't, if someone tells you that you can't do it, don't just take their word for it. Keep trying. But one of the other most important thing on top of everything, as Hannan has said, is also, being sincere and be honest, and always make dua. That's what I always did. I've always asked for Allah's help. I believe without Allah's help, we can't do anything. So I always was sincere. I always made my prayer every night. I would pray and that this thing happens. And subhanAllah, next day I'd wake up and somewhere along the line, a piece of jigsaw comes along and adds to my big picture. And before you know it, you've got the whole thing planned and you can work towards it. So planning it, working at it, making sincere intentions, and being honest to yourself and others, and making dua.
When you say being honest to yourself and others, what do you mean by that?
So you don't take shortcuts, and you don't look for shortcuts. You want to make like quick money or do a quick thing by taking shortcuts. And secondly is that being honest with others as well. So you don't go and tell people it's about something when it's not. If you know what I'm saying.
Being sincere.
Being sincere.
Having integrity in what you do.
Yes. And that's what makes these things happen. Money will always come at the end, if you're successful. But if your intention is just out there, you want to make quick money, you're not really concerned about, whether it's something that's good for human beings or for the environment or for the society, then I think you're starting off the wrong foot straight away.
Excellent. Abdul Hannan, I can see you're itching to come in there.
Yeah, just coming on. I just had a light bulb moment. So, coming from a boxing background, this quote is a famous quote that Muhammad Ali said: "Victory comes within the darkness of the nights, long before I dance under the bright lights." So, just to sum it up, Muhammad Ali was one of the greatest boxers of all time, and he showed a lot of discipline. He showed a lot of commitment. He said, "Victory comes in the darkness of the night, long before I box within the bright lights." So just to summarize that, it says the hard work is before the actual event happens, or the hard work that you put in, the effort that you put in will reap its benefits, will reap its fruits. So if your efforts is 50%, you'll expect your results will be 50%. But if your efforts are 110%, you put everything, your heart and your soul into it, then you'll exactly reap the benefits of it. So just to add on what Rashid said, be honest, don't make shortcuts, and be sincere. And if you're devoted to your goal, I'm pretty sure you'll achieve it.
Okay. So just to summarize what Rashid Bhai was saying there, his top advice is, first of all, ask the Almighty, pray for what you want. And I suppose that's part of being focused on what you want. If you're talking about it, if you're thinking about it, and you're also mentioning in your prayers, it shows that you are completely determined and focused on it.
Yes.
The second piece of advice he gave was to be sincere. So when you go and do something, do it properly. Don't look for shortcuts. If you're going to do something, go the full way, do it properly. Have integrity in everything that you do. And finally, you said, be patient. Yep. It's going to take a long time. However long it takes, it doesn't matter. When you do speak to people, be honest about it. If things go wrong, it's okay to tell people things have gone wrong, as long as you know how you're going to put things right or how you have a backup plan.
And you always learn from your mistakes. Don't forget, you learn from something, you pick it up, fix it for next time, and you keep carrying on.
That's correct. If it weren't for mistakes, we wouldn't have half of the technology that exists.
Definitely.
Was it Thomas Edison that was trying to build a charger to store electricity?
Yeah.
And a reporter came to him and said, "Oh, you've had 100 attempts and you still don't know how to store electricity." And he turned around and said, "I know 100 ways not to store electricity. What do you know?"
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Exactly, yeah. Failure and I think there's quite a lot of quotes on failure. It's from you go from failure to failure until you succeed.
Yes.
Fail to prepare and be prepared to fail.
That's it. So thank you very much for that information. We'll come on to ask you a few more questions towards the end of the show. So just to summarize it, in the first half of the show, we spoke about what is determination, what is focus, how do we make the magic happen. We looked at two stories from Abdul Hannan and Rashid Ali, and we looked at how they've been focused enough to be able to make history. One of them was a troubled child, and he managed to turn all of that around due to a personal tragedy. The other ones always found it very easy to become focused, and for him it's always about proving to people that he can do it. So we need something that motivates us enough to be determined to find focus towards a goal. And when we find that goal, we need to make sure that we are so determined that nothing else gets in the way. We need to be thinking about it all the time. We need to be sleeping about it. We need to be praying on it. We should eat, sleep and drink it, basically. All of our free time should be dedicated towards that. And it's that hunger that Rashid Ali was talking about that will help you to achieve the impossible. And sometimes we don't want to achieve the impossible. We might have small goals. Is it okay to have small goals to start off with?
Yes, of course. It helps you build towards the big one.
Exactly. So Abdul Hannan, you spoke about self-confidence and self-belief. Now, if you start achieving the smaller goals, that will help you to have that confidence and build on that belief, just like a snowball effect, and how we can compound it to achieve the impossible, as you guys have proven to everybody that it is possible to achieve it.
Just to add on, it doesn't matter about, I'm going to say another boxing quote coming from a sporting coaching background. It doesn't matter about how many times you get knocked down. It's about you keep on trying. You get it every time you get knocked down, every time you have a fall, get up and keep trying, keep working towards that goal. It doesn't end when you get knocked down or when there's trial and tribulation to your success, to your project. Your success ends is when you stop. So don't stop and keep trying. That's what I would say.
So, advice from Abdul Hannan there, it doesn't matter what happens, get back up on your feet, dust yourself off and keep trying. Now, one familiar theme that we can see in both of you is you both seem to have some kind of a sporting background or some kind of something to keep yourself fit. How important is that, and what part has that played in you maintaining your discipline?
For me, actually, I don't come from a sporting background. I came from a business background.
Right.
But it was back in 2012 when I participated in a charity race and I found Allah had given me ability. I was like 6 minutes behind Mo Farah when he did the Olympic 5K run. And I was like 38 and I thought, subhanAllah, where was this? Where did this come from?
So is that the first time you've taken part in any sports?
Anything in my life.
Wow.
And then I thought, hold on, what if I trained? And I signed up for the same club, they signed me up. Unfortunately, because of my age, I was 40 years old by then. They said, me entering the Olympics is a small chance. So I thought, well, Allah's given me an ability, shown me an ability, and I'd give anything for, for health at that time. And I thought, well, I found out what can I do with it, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to go and use it for charity work. So I went to all the charities and started knocking on the door and said, look, let me run for you, let me raise money for you. And I did that for about 5 years till somebody employed me in the charity sector, which was Muslim charity, and that's how I. So yeah, so it's again, you know, I had it in me, you know, and I discovered all of it. When I discovered this ability, I thought, all right, I'm going to use this for something good, and that's when I started running, and then cycling came along, and then I do other activities which comes along with it.
So would you say staying active has helped you with your goal setting and, you know, achieving your goals and having that discipline and focus?
Yeah, although, I mean, I've never been in a gym in my life or anything, and I didn't do sports, but I was very active. In the sense, I held 2-3 jobs down from the age of 17, so I was constantly working, and every work I did involved moving around. I've never done any desk jobs where I just sat at a desk and punched some buttons. It was always that. And from a very young age, I'd go to school. I'd walk 6 miles every day, there and back, to save my bus fare so I can have sweets. You know, so I was always active in that sense. But then I just sort of angled it into the right things later on in life, to put it into good use.
So there you go, from the man that rode 3,500 miles all the way from London to Mecca. From a very young age, he was determined to buy sweets, so he would walk all the way. So he would walk 12 miles every day just so he could have the sweets. That's the level of determination he had. And it didn't have to be for something great. All he wanted was the sweets at the end of the day. But he had that determination, and he had made that commitment that I will walk those 12 miles to school and back just so I can get the reward at the end of it. Abdul Hannan, you've got a boxing background, you've been in athletics, you've been in sports. What impact has sports had on you being able to find that focus and, you know, having that resilience?
I think
how has being active and energetic and being involved in sports helped you to achieve your goals?
I think being part of sports, especially for young people and teenagers, is very, very vitally important that young people take part and participate in sports, because first of all, it gives you a sense of belonging. Second of all, it gives you a sense of direction. Third of all, it gives you discipline, which is the most important factor, discipline. And the most important in boxing that we learn is discipline and dedication. And if you can transfer the same discipline and dedication that you participate in sport and apply it into your lifestyle, apply it into your work, your business, then you can be successful. It's easy. Because in boxing, we are learned to train our body, our mind, our heart, our soul to one focus. Do you understand? To remain calm under pressure. In boxing, we have to remain calm. We have to remain patient. Do you understand? Not let our opponent defeat us or see our weakness. So if you can apply the same methodology by participating in sports and really focusing in sports, you can apply that principle. I use that same principle, that the discipline from boxing and sports, and I've applied it into my lifestyle. And alhamdulillah, to somewhat sense, I'm quite successful in regards to achieving few achievements. That was recognised by the Metropolitan Police for Tower Hamlets Community Safety, by Lloyds Bank. I was shortlisted for one of the best projects in England, best community project for keeping young people active and safe. Me and Rashid also shortlisted for the British Bangladeshi Power Inspiration 100, which is another great achievement. And again, it boils down to keeping focused and being determined of what you want to achieve in life. And if you can, inshallah, you can leave your legacy also as well. That's my final message.
There you go. So you've heard it from Abdul Hannan's mouth himself. He left school with 1 GCSE. He was in the people referral unit, but that didn't stop him. He found focus. He joined sports, and from sports he found what it meant to be disciplined. He found what it meant to have focus. And when he found those things, and he found what it meant to have patience, and then he's taken those elements, patience, focus, and discipline and applied it in other areas of his life, which has allowed him to go on, and you've heard the awards he's listed there, from the Metropolitan Police, from Lloyd's, all of these places. He's had success after success after success, when previously he didn't have any of that success because he never had that determination. But once he found that determination, he put himself into sports, learned those transferable skills and qualities, and brought that over and started applying it in other areas of his life. So you'll hear a lot of people say healthy body, healthy mind. So it's very important that when we think about being disciplined, when we think about being determined, we don't just think about it from a greed point of view, like, oh, I want to have £10,000 by the end of the week, or the end of the month, or end of the year rather, or I want to have this promotion. Why do we want those things? And it's about having that holistic balance and making sure that we find that determination, keep ourselves buddy, because at the end of the day, you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have the health to go along with it, what's that money going to do for you? Just buy more drugs? No. So it's about having that holistic balance, and it's finding determination and finding that, and by keeping active. You don't always have to go and jump in the boxing ring to find that determination. You heard from brother Rashid Ali. It was only at 30 he ever took part in, at the age of 30?
38.
At the age of 38, he did his first sporting activity, but before that he was always active. So he had a healthy body, which gave him a healthy mind, which meant that he was able to focus on what he wanted to do and have that laser focus and determination to prove people wrong and to show them that this is what I can achieve and this is what can be done. You need to up your game. And for Abdul Hannan, the fact that he left school with 1 GCSE, he didn't stop him, and it's not stopping him from doing anything he wants to do. I bet if I ask his brothers now if they think that they can achieve anything, let's ask them, can you achieve anything if you wanted to?
Inshallah, it can be done.
Hannan?
I think where there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. With Allah's permission, that's it. I think nothing is unachievable. You just have to have a firm intention. Intention needs to be correct, solid heart, and plan yourself. Anything is achievable in life. That's it.
So, and on that note, I think we'll wrap up today's show. So, you've heard it from Abdul Hannan, you've heard it from Rashid Bhai, and you'll hear it from many of motivational speakers. There's so much stuff out on free now. In this day and age, there's so much information that we can have. There's videos you can watch, there's books you can download, there's ebooks that you can borrow. There is an infinite amount of resources available to both you and me to be able to achieve all of our goals, or to start making steps towards it. But as we've discovered on today's show, the first step is that determination. We need to be determined that this is the goal I want to achieve, and I'm going to focus on it, I'm going to achieve it. We've heard advice from Rashid Ali saying you need to be sincere and you need to have patience. We've heard advice from Abdul Hannan saying you need to be disciplined and you need to be focused, and you need to focus and concentrate on what you want. And when you get knocked down, you don't give up, you don't stop, you get back up, you dust yourself off, and you go for it again. My name is Jamal Ahmed. We've had our panelists Abdul Hannan and Rashid Ali on the show. We wish you all the very best. Make sure you share your thoughts with us in the comments. If you want to start a goal, or if you have just started a new goal, if you have success and you want to come and share that with the world on this show, please get in touch in the comment section and let us know. We'd love to have that discussion with you.
Federal